We are at one of our South End projects here. We have 4 flights of stairs that we've basically reconstructed from an aesthetic standpoint. Everything from rebuilding some of the risers to level out the treads, to replacing the treads with a walnut. We also have these existing balusters, which we doctored up, repainted, and then a number of them are actually replications. So we took one of these and sent it to one of our mill shops, and they made replicas of the existing so we could replace some of the more damaged ones. But we're starting here. We're actually 1 level up from the street in a traditional brownstone here in the South End. This is the first staircase. So there's actually, this one brings you down to the street level. This is one of the more simple flights of stairs in this unit because it's a straight shot. There's 1 flight below this that brings you down to the basement level, but we actually didn't touch that one. One cool detail you'll notice on these as we make our way down here is that on the 3rd step up, you'll actually see the face of the nosing start curving more and more as you walk down. So each one of these are fit, and then we moved our jack miter back and added this curve, and this is all to replicate the existing condition. The other thing we also did is all of these railings were sent out to Freddie over Period Craftsman on Instagram. He took these and brought them back to a similar luster as they were originally. So this is basically the initial coat, and he's got some work on site where he'll actually buff this back to its gloss finish. So most of this stuff was sent off site, finished, brought back on site. Cal's working upstairs on the next flight, but he's taking his time putting the railings back together as well as putting all these balusters in. A lot of people have noticed that this railing's awfully low. This is existing. So it's not in our budget to restructure this entire railing, especially with these, gorgeous curves. It would just be, from a cost standpoint, wouldn't make a lot of sense. So we're replacing it exactly with what was there, just again, repainted, refinished. So this handrail, you can see actually another cool detail down below here is that they replaced all the nosing and really took their time to make these curves sweep and just kind of flow with everything else. Same thing with this handrail up here, how it dives into the scotia underneath the stairs. Each piece is really well thought out. Have a little bit of work here with the oak floor. We get a tie in, and then we'll do some refinishing on the oak. I'd love them to replace the entire floor with walnut, but I think for right now we'll stick with the oak. Again, an original newel post. This was also finished, and then this handrail going up, same thing. Again, Cal's up top here on this staircase. He's working on getting these balusters installed. Similar detail here where the front of the nosing starts curving on the first 3, and then they straighten out. But you're gonna notice up top, this staircase starts to curve. And then as you go up, they curve a little bit more and more. But let's take a look at what we got going on up here. What's up, man?
Hey guys.
So walk me through, let's take a step back here. The original stair treads, this outside nosing was applied after the balusters, right? They had a dovetail on them.
These have a dovetail. They sat into the tread.
And that nosing held them on, right?
No, nosing held them on. So this sat flush with your tread, and this recessed back up into your railing.
So obviously, for a number of reasons, we're not replicating that detail. Right. Mainly due to cost, but how are we now fastening them?
So because these are all slightly different, we are drilling these out to 1.25 inches to accept this into the baluster. Mm-hmm. And then we are plumbing it up from that point. We plumb down from the bottom of the railing to find our center of hole, drill out our hole with a forcer bit.
Yep.
Pop this in with some PL.
So you say 1.25 inches, that's, I assume, smaller than this, so it's actually hiding.
Exactly.
So you're setting this entire existing dovetail here, you're setting this in a PL, which is a construction adhesive. Yep. So how are you plumbing from this point? A laser line?
Yep. Taking my laser right here, Got my mark here already,
Gotcha.
but this finds me. I take reference off of my center of the hole in the previous hole in the bottom of the railing.
So he's got his laser, there's a dot here in the center of the hole for the baluster. And these are existing from the handrail when it was removed. And then that dot is transferred from the hole above down to a piece of tape he applied here. And then at that point you take your pencil, you mark your center, and then you can go to town with your Forstner bit. Cool. So working our way up, you're just gonna follow this handrail and kind of let that dictate where everything lies.
Right. Every twist and turn changes everything moving up as we move forward. So it's step by step at this point.
Gotcha.
No pun intended.
So this is an awesome detail, and I think you guys did an incredible job on this entire project. But I have to say, Cal, these are probably some of my favorite views of this staircase. You know, removing, basically you're scribing this everywhere. You're scribing it to fit, running this long, and you're replicating and following that curve around your tread and recreating these jack miters with that curve integrated. And then transferring it up here to your nosing.
Yeah, that was a fun challenge.
So walk me through, I guess, real quick, how you, like, what was your thought process or your step-by-step on figuring out how to get that curve replicated there?
Luckily, based off of the existing stair treads, we had a rough dimension to go off of. First thing was to scribe to my back, slide it in, catch this scribe, leaving my rough length long, and then I would catch my point here.
Gotcha.
And it followed off the tread below.
And you build
the riser below.
And then you build off with your traditional overhang for that nosing. And
I would cut my jack miter with the K-Tex, scribe this cut in roughly. I'd make the cut only once with the jigsaw.
Right.
Cutting both pieces. This and the tread.
Doctor that in. So you guys, all of these treads, because we're working with existing framing, had to be, fastened down from the face. Yeah. So you and Mike worked on a system where you guys used a screw and plug system. Yeah. Everything got glued, screwed down, and then you guys took basically your walnut scraps and plugged everything, right? Yeah. And then we sanded it down and we applied, this is I believe a Bona Traffic. I will have to confirm with that, and I'll make sure I note that in our comments, but this is a Bona Traffic semi-gloss finish on this. Let's jump up another level here. So this was salvaged from a yard down the street. There's Restoration Resources. Basically, as people are renovating some of these places in the South End, they're removing existing newel posts, railings, handrails, I mean, everything down to, the gates in front of the lower basement stairs. And they're putting these in basically a basement of a place. And I took a ride over there one day and I saw this one, and I remember sending a picture to Cal and Mike and saying, hey, what does this one look like? And it almost is identical to the one in the basement, which is great because when you walk up on your entry, which is one level up from the street, you have that really nice detailed one. And then in the basement, and then on the second level, which is your sleeping level, you have this more dumbed down, simplified version. Previously, they had basically a box store turn newel post that just really didn't fit the space. So they're doing a great job basically coping this into the newel post. And then the next challenge, which we're gonna work on next, will be that handrail that dives in to this, working our way up. But jumping into this staircase, as I said earlier, is stuff is starting to curve more and more. So now we have a wind that starts on the landing, winds out, straightens out for about 3 steps, and then starts winding again. You can see this detail again. I mean, this is just an awesome, awesome detail, how that jack miter and overhang just kind of flows with the staircase and works its way, continuously up, and then again follows that nosing. And this is all replicating the existing details here. And then we're at our final stair that goes from the second sleeping level to basically the roof deck access, as well as another living room. And this one's a little bit more simple. It starts out with a curved tread, but it winds in more of a geometric fashion. And then you get up to here, again, winds in a geometric fashion. These are the turn posts that I had mentioned earlier that they had down at the master bedroom level. Just doesn't fit the space, but up here we're going to refinish these handrails. We're gonna actually remove these mitered handrails up top here, replace them with a curved section, and then replace these balusters, which we had replicated at our mill shop, with something that matches the existing ones.